Hello, hello. My previous live was cut for some reason. Facebook keeps cutting my live videos on this group, but I persevere. I'm determined. I want to share my content with you. So, hello again for those who are following me and want to have more information. I am, of course, a 5 times best-selling author. I've written over 40 books. I've written probably somewhere along the closer to 100 books written, but 41 officially published. And a bunch of them have been translated in many languages around the world. And so I want to share my all my skills, expertise, my knowledge with you guys so that you can also not only write a book, because writing a book, although is something very hard and very strenuous and very rewarding, it's not necessarily the means to a lot of wealth if you don't utilize it properly and if you don't do the whole process properly so that you can actually have at least a really good book that sells a lot of copies, potentially a bestseller, but at least grow your business utilizing that book. And there are strategies to implement to be able to grow your business using your book. So that's what I want to share. For those who don't know me very well, I've been in business all my life. I actually started in my parents' pastry when I was 8 years old behind the cash register. So I have a long, lengthy experience about sales. And I love sales, actually. I love selling. And I love writing. I started writing too late, I think, too late in life because I didn't dare to start. I thought that writing would never bring me any money, and I was desperate to make a living. So I worked in the rat race 9-to-5 job until I quit everything about now 15 years ago, and I decided to open my own consulting business. And that's where everything started to change in my life, when I took that step out of my comfort zone. So where to start, where you want to write a book and grow your business. So 99% of people do it wrong, and I want to help you do it right and explain to you what you should be doing in order to start on the right foot. If you already have started your book or you finished your first book, it might not be the last book that you write. And I think every time I write a book, it's going to be my last. And I'm at 41 books, so it might not be your last. And also you can always correct and change things. So nothing ever is written in stone, right? Especially today with the internet. So how do you start? So the first real start to writing a book, and most people skip this because it's annoying and because nobody really wants to take the time. We want to write a book, and we have this compulsory kind of will, which I might call it, that wants us to move forward, and we don't think of planning and doing it right. And then we end up with having a book, no sales on the book, nobody caring about the book we wrote, and just a bunch of wasted time. So the first and real important step in having a book that sells copies and that's going to bring your business to higher grounds is to really create almost a quasi-business plan around the book. So before you even start putting pen to paper, you need to figure out who is your audience, who is this book for, who will read you. You see, most people write a book to write a book. They write a book because they have this intention to share their knowledge, or they have the intention to leave a legacy, to leave something behind. They absolutely want to share their story, their biography, and have this need of perhaps the need we all have to staying immortal, to living forever, and to leaving something that proves that we've been there, we've done something, and we want to share with the world our unique story, because all of your stories, everybody's story is unique. Everybody has a life story that's spectacular. I think that's why we're on earth, is to live spectacular stories. And then, of course, everybody wants to share their story. But the issue with that is that you start with yourself in mind. And if you want to write a book for yourself, meaning that it's a book that's going to be on your shelf and you'll be proud that your grandkids read something about you, great, fine. But that's not why I'm here. That's not why I started this group. I started this group for people who want to make money. And I started this group for people who want to have a book that's going to sell and that's going to bring them a ton more clients. That's why I created this group. So in order for you to have more money and to have more clients, you have to think of your clients first. So you first have to really think about who this book is intended for. You see, that's the mistake I made when I first wrote my first published, not wrote because I wrote before that, but my first published book was a semi-autobiography. I wrote about my success as a real estate investor, and I flipped houses, I renovated homes, and I really generated a lot of income in a very short amount of time. And I wanted to share that with the world, all my experience in real estate. But what the mistake I made is, I made a bunch, which I hope you never make. The first one is I never really looked at who my target audience is and what was the purpose of that book. I just wanted to write a book and didn't think of, well, what's going to happen after? What's the next step? And for that, you really have to be smart in really starting to plan ahead of the results you want to achieve with your book. So what are the results you want to achieve with your business, and what are the results the book is going to bring to your business? So it's almost like a business plan within a business plan. You need to know what's going to come after the book before you even put pen to paper to decide on a title. You see, I made a big mistake on choosing the wrong title for my first published book. I called it Be Free. Be free, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not about how to be successful in real estate investment. It wasn't about live the life of your dreams. It wasn't about financial freedom. I would have called it Financial Freedom. People would have understood what the book is about. I called it Be Free, which was so vast. So the title was wrong. But the title was wrong because the step before was not done well. So a lot of people start with the title when they start a book. What will be the title of my book? The title should be the last thing you think of almost when you write a book. The first thing you should think is, who is my audience? What do they need? What will this book serve? What is the purpose? And what problem will I solve with my book? I wrote 41 books. Out of those, there's about a dozen, if not more, that were actually, there were about a dozen, if not more, that were actually ordered from my publishers. So they actually hired me to write specific subject and specific titles and specific books on certain subjects. And so that's a different thing. That's not, that wasn't for the purpose of building a business. That was because, my books are so successful that my publishers regularly come to me for more content. But if you really want to have a business that grows utilizing a book or incorporating a book in the business you already have so that you sell copies and also are able to scale your business, charge more, become a specialist, have more notoriety, become the authority figure in your business, you have to know who that book is for. What is the purpose? What is the business? What's the business related to the book? Is it consulting? Is it sales? Is it retail? So you really need to know where that book fits into your whole business plan. I have a few clients that have books, and the mistake that they've made is that they created a book that stands on its own, that is absolutely not related to anything else that they're doing. So a standalone book is a waste of time. It's a considerable waste of time. And even in the subjects that my publishers ask me to write, I always try to stay within the titles and the subjects that have the desired outcome for my business. And I won't write out of topic or a topic that no longer serves me. I'm currently seriously debating a big offer that I received from my French publisher. It's actually the biggest publisher in the world, I believe. I don't want to be mistaken, but they publish all the For Dummies books, so that made them one of the largest publishers in the world. And they've asked me for a specific title, and they asked me for a specific format of book. And I'm questioning if I will accept their offer, and it's a really good offer. It's actually close to 10 times what I've been offered for my first book, as a the not only for the advance but also for the percentage that they will give me for every sale. So the just the advance is close to 10 times my first book. So it's a lot more. But I'm questioning if I'm going to do it. And the reason why I'm questioning is because it is on the law of attraction. And I'm an expert in the law of attraction. I've written a ton of books on the subject. I'm actually a step further. I'm an expert in the law of manifestation. I know how to manifest things into becoming at an extraordinary speed. It's absolutely mind-boggling for most people. But do I want to be known in that field, and is my career going in that direction? And everything I'm doing currently is to help people build million-dollar businesses. And the law of attraction book does not fit necessarily in my own business plan. So I'm really even evaluating and questioning a publisher coming to me with a very decent, more than decent offer, because it might not fit in my whole business strategy. And so that is just, and believe me when I say that was one of my biggest dreams when I started my first book published through Amazon was published 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I would have done anything for someone to come to me and ask and offer me an advance for a book. I don't know what I would have. It was one of my biggest dreams. Is one day a publisher comes to me and asks me to write a title, and I just get paid and do what I love. And that's why I'm still struggling, because it was such a huge dream in the past, but the past is the past. And I'm saying that, and I'm sharing this with you, this kind of questioning, because I want you to understand how important it is for your book to be within the same strategy and the same business that you have, the whole global strategy, and how that incorporates as a piece of the whole puzzle, as a piece of the full structure that you want to put in place. So not only do you leverage the book, but every part of your business starts to be interconnected and leveraging one another. So before you even start with thinking about the content, thinking about the title, the summary, you have to think of your audience. Who are you speaking to? What problem do you solve? The first book that I published, big mistake. The title was wrong. I didn't know my audience. I just wanted to write. That was the purpose. And I wanted to help people. but I didn't position it in a way that it would actually help people, because you don't help people if nobody reads your book. So even if your intention is, I want to help a ton of people, you won't help anyone if no one reads your book. So understand that. You need sales in order to have an impact on the world. The more impact. The more money you make, the more it means that you're offering great value and people see that value. The trajectory I made in 10 years from that first published book to my published book now, that's called Seven Figure Websites. First of all, it focuses on one particular pain point, one particular problem that I'm trying to solve is, how can someone build $1 million consulting business really quickly, using, of course, online. And I clearly define my target. I clearly define the goal of the book. The goal of the book is really for people to hire my company for me to build them $1 million businesses. So the goal of the book is really for people to understand how amazing it is to have $1 million consulting business, and that, instead of having them do all the heavy lifting, I can come in with my team and we build the $1 million business ground up. That's why the book was written. So in your case, you really need to figure out, why am I writing this book? What's the purpose? What purpose does it serve me in my business? What purpose does it serve the reader? What is the problem that I'm solving? So those are the questions, the first questions that you should ask, that you really need to wrap your head around and start answering, because before that, your book is really pointless and you will lose a lot of time. There's nothing worse than spending a lot of time into something and that it's useless. So planning should be half of your creation process. I write my books very, very quickly. I write them within 4-6 week stops. I've written books in less time than that. One was written in a week. Of course, it was a full week, 10 hours a day, but nonetheless, the reason why is because I spend a lot of time planning the book. And nowadays I have so much content as well that it's easy for me to write, because I just have so much accumulated content. So before you even write, you need to plan, strategize, plan the outcome, plan how you're going to leverage the book, plan how you're going to upsell the book. What is the next step after that? And who is your audience? Name that audience. Create even an avatar for your audience. So when you write, you will be writing to almost a person in particular. And if you're able to write to one person in particular, you will reach millions of people. When you write to too many people, you lose the precisiveness of your message. But if you know exactly, you have the avatar of the exact person with its exact problem, and you have that solution, you share value with the book, you will get a lot of traction and you might be very, very successful. The book will sell, and great, but the idea behind it is that you become the authority figure in that specific field, and that you gain traction because of the book, that you leverage the book, and that you become very successful with your book. That is really the intention of writing and doing this whole process in business. I'm not talking about poetry here, I'm talking about business books, right? So just to give you a difference, you see, between 10 years ago with my first published book, nobody wanted it. I sent it to hundreds upon hundreds of agents, publishers, etc. I received 400 negative answers. Really, nobody wanted it. And now having publishers literally email me asking me for a new book. And my latest book, Seven Figure Websites, being, I think it was number 67 within a week on Amazon. So it's literally selling like hotcakes, flying off the shelf, the numeric shelves. So really, and the difference is the first, I didn't have a clear idea of who I was writing to, what problem I was solving. My title was not good simply because the work was not done, the prior work. It's a lot of work prior to writing a book that you need to do. And now that I actually created an amazing system where, the book is not a standalone product, there's upsells of it, there's cross sells, there's other things connected to it, and it really solves one particular very special problem in a very effective way. That's what you want. And also the last piece here is, once you start the process of writing a book, think of what you want to be successful in. I remember I wrote a book and I wanted it so much to be successful, and a friend of mine reminded me that the worst thing that can happen to someone is that you become extremely successful in something that you really don't like, because then that's a prison made out of golden bars. It's very difficult to escape. So find something that not only you can solve, but that you would be passionate about doing. Because imagine if it becomes really successful, you will be very successful. And so you will only talk about that subject for years to come, right? So better be passionate about what you're writing and what you're doing. So I hope this helps. And I have a really big news coming this week. I can't wait to share it. You will have it Friday. Friday you will get the news, and it's huge. It took me a year to put it together, and I created something that's extremely valuable. I don't think anybody else has done it yet. And I have a very, very special offer for the first people who join. And it's a one-time offer. I don't think I'll be able to do it again. And for those who get on a call with me will understand why it's difficult to do it again. And it's very, very special. So if you're interested, say book for money or money book in the comments, and I will reach out via a private message, and we can set up a call and chit chat to see if it's a fit for you or not. Maybe not, but if it is, you'll be a big winner. So thank you for watching, and I hope you got a ton of value out of this this live. And again, I'm here every Wednesday, same hour, so from 12 p.m. Eastern Time for a live session. It's a coaching session. It's Ask Me Anything. So hopefully next time you bring your questions so that I can answer all your questions during the live. Thank you again. Have a great, great rest of your day. Bye.